Olá, meus amigos, bem-vindos à programação Língua Portuguesa no canal 49. É com muito gosto que estamos aqui para mais uma edição do programa Os Portugueses no Vale. Este programa que há quase 30 anos está ao serviço da comunidade de língua e de origem portuguesa aqui no vastíssimo Vale de São Joaquim, desde Bakersfield no sul até à zona, portanto, de Hilmar e Turlock no norte. Mas também através da internet, portanto, no KNXT.tv, podem ver o programa Os Portugueses no Vale em qualquer parte do mundo, através do chamado live stream, e também podem ver os nossos programas que estão agora arquivados através da YouTube. Portanto, várias formas de poderem, várias plataformas de poderem ter acesso a este programa Os Portugueses no Vale, em que destacamos, portanto, as vivências da comunidade de origem portuguesa aqui no centro da Califórnia. Hoje vamos ter o nosso programa praticamente em inglês, com o nosso convidado, que é de uma organização que toda a gente conhece. Quem não conhece, a organização que é a Luso-American, que é uma organização agora nacional, não só aqui no estado da Califórnia, mas também em vários estados da União Americana. E temos, portanto, com muito gosto, a Luso-America também patrocina 22 programas por ano aqui no canal 49, por isso, no princípio e no fim de alguns programas, veem, portanto, um anúncio da Luso-American, e é uma organização com cerca de 150 anos ao serviço da nossa comunidade. O nosso programa vai ser em inglês. Vamos conversar com o Sr. Tony Sozinho, que é vice-presidente desta organização. Tony, welcome to Channel 49.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. And let's talk Luso. Let's talk a little bit. First of all, you are vice president of the board, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us exactly your title, please.
Okay.
And explain it to us.
My title is vice chairman of the board of directors of Luso Financial. And what that means, I'm second in command on the board. If the chairman is ever out of country or cannot attend a function or cannot run a meeting, I step in and run the meeting.
And what is the board of the Luso Financial? What is some of the major responsibilities, obviously?
It's to oversee the whole organization on the financial end.
Okay.
We have our home office that runs the day-to-day operation, and what the board does is oversee where the investments are at, any problems that aren't fraternal related. Because we have a fraternal board that oversees all the social issues with councils. What the board does is oversee all the financial end.
And now also part of it is the Luso Education Foundation, which for a while was a little bit off to its own lifespan, but now it's part of the Luso family.
It's part of the Luso family, even though the Education Foundation does have its own number for tax purposes, because we're a fraternal benefit society, and being a fraternal benefit society, we're non-for-profit.
Okay.
So we're allowed benefits under the IRS codes.
Okay.
So, but under the umbrella of management of all the funds and watching over the organization, they are part of our family like Luso Fraternal is.
So the social end, and we spoke to actually just a few months ago with Liz Mata, who is currently the president of the Luso Fraternal. So the social end is directed by the fraternal. All the councils, they have their own board.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the fraternal board. That, if there is, talking about a council, the secretaries, all that, that is run by the fraternal board. They're the ones in charge of the fraternal convention on a yearly basis.
And you've been president of the fraternal?
Yes, I was the president of Luso Fraternal in 2012, and it was based, had my convention here in Fresno.
In Fresno, so that's not that long ago.
Not long ago.
But now the Luso Financial is where all the products are based out of, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it is not just a California company, it's actually a national company. You have headquarters here in California, but you also have, you expanded to other states, correct?
Yes. We, on the West Coast, we're here in California, and we're in Idaho. We are also on the East Coast. We have an East Coast home office in, blank here.
In Massachusetts.
It's Massachusetts.
I know it is Massachusetts.
And we moved the office last year, and I believe
New Bedford.
It's in New Bedford. Yes, it is.
Yes, that's right.
Because we have a new office where Anthony Pio is based out of.
Right.
And we're licensed to do business in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
So interesting. So you have to be licensed by the state, not just at a federal level. I see.
Yeah, we have to be licensed by the state and meet all their guidelines.
Okay.
Now, we have clients in other states.
Correct.
As long as they come into one of the licensed states and write business.
I see. Okay. All right.
So there are
So let's talk about the Luso. You know, I think the products themselves have changed tremendously, I'm sure, since you've been in Luso. I'm not going to ask you how long, but probably all of your life, so just about.
I've been in the insurance business since 1986.
Okay. And so, a Luso member for probably...
Way before that.
Way before that.
Way before that.
So, used to be that parents would buy a policy for their children when they were born. I remember I did that for both my sons.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And so at that time, as you probably recall, Mr. Morrison was our insurance agent and representative for this whole Valley area. And so that was one of the major products that I remember from 35, 40 years ago. But it has changed tremendously since then, has it not?
Yes. On the business side, Luso Financial is an insurance company.
Okay.
So they have a whole list of products from whole life, term. Mm-hmm. We have your products to fit into your IRAs, your retirement accounts, 401k, SEP IRAs, and different forms of qualified and non-qualified annuities. Mm-hmm. Back in those days, talking about your parents, everybody would buy the kids a $500 or $1,000 policy.
Right.
And that's how they associated Luso.
Right.
The small little policy. Now, minimums are a lot higher.
Correct.
But people are finding out we're more than just the fraternal, the social. We do have the products to write people to $100,000, $500,000 to $1 million. Okay. So, we have various products.
So those policies, just out of curiosity, those policies still exist? If people still buy the life insurance for their children or their grandchildren to get them kind of involved in it?
Yes, they do. Okay. They start there, and the parents start finding out. That's what they asked for because that's what they did.
Correct.
For them,
right.
Or was done for them, and they start finding out. Oh, you mean I could buy insurance? They forget that they didn't realize that Luso has more to offer than just the policy for a newborn.
Right. And I see one of the policies I get, of course, I'm a Luso member. I have been for many years with the policy and now with other products. But one of the interesting things that I see as part of your advertising packet that you sent out to members is the educational savings accounts. I think those are great because more and more, unfortunately, college doesn't cost what it cost 35 or 40 years ago. It's a pretty expensive ordeal nowadays, and most families have to go in debt, or most kids have to go in debt for college, unfortunately. But there is a way that people can start young or early if they'd like to.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a few different ways, but the product you're asking about is the education savings account. Mm-hmm. It allows a family to put up to $2,000 in a calendar year, and that money accumulates tax-free.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase. It's tax-deferred, but it is tax-free if the money is used for college.
Okay.
Okay. Or higher education.
Okay. So it could be like a technical school as long as
it could be a technical school. It could be a private high school.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So all the interest when the money is pulled out to go to school, all the money is tax-free.
Okay.
The reason I say tax-deferred is because if a child decides never to go to college or any higher education, and they become 31 years old, then Luso will cut them a check automatically. And the interest then would be taxable if the money wasn't used by them. For education purposes. For education purposes.
Okay, and it can be a technical school. It can be, like a community college.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the products you said.
Yeah, that's one product.
There's others? There are others?
Well, not designed for education, but you could... let's say a parent wanted to put more into an account for their child.
Okay.
Well, they could open up their own individual non-qualified annuity.
I see.
See, a non-qualified annuity has no limits, so a person could put a lot more money into it, and they just pull money out. Now, the interest would be taxable, of course, but at least it's a way to accumulate money tax-deferred.
Correct.
So it's not an education account. Mm-hmm. but you could use it as a way to help put money aside for college education.
Okay.
Especially in Luso's case,
right.
They have a product that pays 4.25% the first year.
But that's what I was going to ask. There's usually there are some incentives that the earnings are a little bit more than your traditional banks or other financial institutions, especially sometimes for a limited amount of time, but most of the time it's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, if you're comparing it to like money you put into a savings account or CDs,
right.
Luso has a single premium annuity product. It's geared at $10,000 or more, and first year is guaranteed 4.25%, and annual renewal rate is based on what the board of directors sets and then the market value. We've been maintaining 3% for the last 5 years or better, but it does have a guarantee. So if the market did crash, our guarantee is 2% on that. So when you look at it compared to products of that nature, it's fantastic.
Correct.
And it's conservative. I mean, if the person that wants to put money in the stock market,
right.
they're going to put money in the stock market.
Correct.
So then, that's different.
Right.
But you have the risk that you could lose your principal.
Correct. This is a little bit more stable, let's put it that way.
Stable,
Much more
it's secure. I always tell people, diversify. If a person has lots of money and they want to play the market, fine. But diversify. Gets conservative. That's where this is.
Correct. Let me ask you the $64,000 question.
Yes, sir.
For Portuguese-Americans, especially, because our generation, yours and mine, another, an older generation, has always known about Luso. It's part of it's part of our idiosyncratic thoughts. I mean, we've heard of these companies forever. But as Portuguese-Americans, become more Americanized, and less in the communities, less involved with the halls, with the clubs, etc. And people have moved, the traditional Portuguese-American communities, not just into Larry Tipton or Visalia, Fresno, other in towns that didn't used to be very Portuguese type of towns. And so people are investing today. Is a little bit different world than what it was, 25, 30, or even 50 years ago. What would entice someone, to go with Luso instead of going with the insurance company A, B, C, or D? And what's a pitch you, as someone who represents Luso, the vice chair, could give to a Portuguese-American who is watching us?
Now you're putting me on the spot.
I am. Well, it's a $64,000 question.
Whether they're Portuguese or not.
Right.
Because we do have many members. We have many members that are Armenian, Italians, Orientals.
Sure.
We have all, different people in there. Why would they become? Because the money it's non-for-profit. So we're not paying stockholders. Okay. The money that Luso makes indirectly goes back to the communities. Because we're a fraternal.
Right.
And through the councils, the councils get money from home office. They're using money in those local communities, volunteering and given to different charities. We, as a board of directors, give money out to various charities throughout the United States every year. And that's the main thing, is we're trying to help the everyday person and keep the money here locally.
Correct. And you run a pretty lean machine.
We do. We do.
There's not 450 people at the Luso office.
No, the Luso office. I'm have to stop and think. We have 6, 7 full-time employees and 2 on the East Coast.
Yeah, pretty lean
we have many part-time sales reps.
Correct.
And they do a fantastic job. And so everything, we have to.
Correct.
I mean, that's the difference. We're not.
So you don't have to pay the shareholders those dividend percentages that companies A, B, C, or D that are for profit and regulated by the state, as a nonprofit, as a fraternal, have to pay. Correct.
We don't have to pay it, but we're regulated by the insurance department.
Okay, you're still regulated.
Oh, yeah. We have to have the insurance auditors come in every couple of years, and they go through the books. They go through everything to make sure we're on the up and up. It's just not, sitting back on the kitchen table doing the books.
Sure.
The state auditors come in, and they look at everything.
So you're regulated. You have to follow the same rules and regulations of any for-profit insurance company.
Yes. Okay. We spend, that costs Luso a couple $100,000 every few years just to have the regulators come in, if not Well, about 250.
Right, right. But that's important as someone who has a financial product with Luso.
Yes.
Right.
No, it's all, our products are regulated, we're secured, we pay our claims. That's what people want to know. Where the money's at, how's it invested, and are they going to be there when when claims are to be paid?
Are we getting, as someone who's been the president of the Luso Fraternal, as someone who's been, I know you've been involved at least with the conferences I put together, you've been part of the committee here for the Luso Education Foundation, and of course, vice chair of the Luso Financial. Is the organization moving forwards and really getting young people involved? I mean, that's kind of the right now the big stumbling block for many Portuguese-American organizations, as you know from the SPDS and everything else.
We have the same concerns every other volunteer group has.
Right.
We're still getting the young people. Here again, the young people. We thought we were the young people.
Right, yes. About a few years ago.
We just don't get as many as we would like to. Mm-hmm. And we're coming up with all different ways, different ideas. And that's why our fraternal is so an important part. The ESAs allows these kids to get involved and dance on the youth program. And what we hope to do is to capture a percentage of those will stay on when they become 18.
Right.
Because a lot of them, once they get done dancing, they choose. You lose them for a few years because they're going to college, get married,
that's understandable.
And our hope is to bring them back in by at least by the time they're 30, they start coming back into the fold.
Do they usually come back in once they get, let's say, start up a family?
It all depends.
A lot of times that doesn't. Yeah.
It depends on your local council.
I see.
If your local council is active, there's a better shot. I'm part of the Tulare Council, and we are the biggest council at this point in the state and the company with
Tulare
membership.
County.
Tulare County.
It used to be. We used to have 3 or 4 different ones, correct?
Right. Tulare County started off originally. We were using the old Tipton Council.
I see.
And we had a few SBRSI councils join us, and then we changed our name from Luso from 60 to Luso 6, Tulare County, because we knew eventually we would be merging other councils. And a few years ago, Tulare joined us, and so did Visalia.
Okay.
So
the Tipton, Tulare, and Visalia councils are basically
one
council.
It's called
now.
Tulare County.
Tulare County. Okay.
And it minimizes the cost of the company also.
Right. And you said it's the largest one right now in the state?
By membership, we're the largest one in the state, yes.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Who's the president? Is it you, I hope?
I've been president of our local council for, I can't remember, 30 years.
Well, congratulations for all the work.
And Aldo Lawrence is my secretary, or our secretary. Right. And then, our overseer is Anthony Betancourt, who oversees.
Anthony's an historian.
He's the historian.
And he'll criticize if he needs to be.
He just gives his opinion.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk a little bit about those councils. Now, they're all over the state, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And are they, Tulare, where this junction has grown, how is that going throughout the state? I mean, do they have the same livelihood, let's put it that way, that they had maybe 25, 30 years ago?
There's some that do. There's some councils that they just don't have any youth movement at all, and there's nobody locally to really energize them. We're fortunate here. We're pretty active. The Chino, Ontario, Norco, Corona area is a little nucleus. Santa Clara, San Jose, in that area. We get up to Modesto, Hilmar, Turlock. There's a nucleus. Sacramento is really good. So there's like 5 or 6 areas, pockets of people that are keeping the society really going.
Okay. And it seems like this is happening even in other organizations, not like Luso, even organizations, the cultural clubs and the social clubs. And it seems like the San Joaquin Valley, and I'm not just trying to tout our own area here, but it seems like as far as Portuguese-American presence, the San Joaquin Valley has really maintained a lot of the traditions. Does that happen with Luso as well?
Yes, yes. We're getting, you know, you get that. Just like when I went last night, I was telling you I went yesterday in Tipton. They had the Matanza. And even though I wasn't born in the Azores, but I was raised with those same cultures.
Correct.
And going there and seeing that, it's sort of nice to see that these things are still going on.
Yeah. And it seems like the rural areas can keep it longer sometimes than the metropolitan areas.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot more things to do in the metropolitan area sometimes, and people, you know.
There is.
Yeah, people get involved.
And you speak social club. I just want to mention, like, we do have the hard time on the East Coast because a lot of the Portuguese people all belong to clubs that are already there.
Interesting.
And Luso is there, but it's like they don't have the incentive.
Right. Right.
Nothing about
probably not the history that we had.
They don't have the history.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's talk a little bit in our few minutes. We have, I think, 6 minutes left or so. Let's talk a little bit about that youth part. We just came off of 2 shows, a 2-part segment that we did here on the program, which Portuguese No Vale, Portuguese No Vale, focusing on the youth part of the convention. So I know the show is like 2.5 hours. We couldn't present all 2.5 hours, but our production staff and Blake did a really wonderful job in putting together 2 shows. So, you know, about 58 minutes of those 2 hours with the different clubs and the different councils, you know, because that was important for us to, you know, focus not just the Valley, but also Fremont. And when that went into social media, you really saw that. You really saw how people are proud of their own area. You know, I had so many comments of people saying, you know, go Fremont. And so that seems to be a very, very important part of the conference, or the convention, should say that, the convention itself. How has that grown, Tony? I mean, how has that grown from your time, you know, many years ago with Luso? Or has it grown?
No, it's grown, because I think this year we might have close to 600 kids.
Wow.
On that day that will be performing in Palm Springs. Last year we had right about the same amount. It's really, really grown, and the kids just, they put these costumes on, these different outfits, and they're just a different child.
Correct. Yeah.
And the parents, being from the local councils, the kids like any other kids, I don't want to go dance, I don't want to do that. But pretty soon, once they're there and they see their friends, and they just takes them over and they have a blast.
Yeah, and it seems like one thing that a couple of people even commented on social media when we posted some of the shows, which was that the variety. You know, some are very traditional with Portuguese traditional dances.
Right.
Some take a little bit of a leap and bring in, you know, aspects of the American culture. So the variety and the creativity that goes, you know, behind this.
A lot of that goes with the size of a group. Because some groups have 60 kids. They could do a lot more. Where you take a group that has only 10 or 15, they can't have that same creativity, so they do more of just a play. Our local council, for years, we've always been known for people that will do the non-traditional.
Correct.
That was just us.
Yeah.
I mean, and the people that were leading it.
We saw that this year, you know, with doing the kind of American Idol or Voice or one of those kind of skits, you know.
Right, and that keeps the kids involved. That keeps the people that aren't raised every day in the Portuguese culture as far as going to festas. That gets those kids to want to participate.
So whether you're Portuguese or not, and you're watching Channel 49, the program which Portuguese No Vale, we're talking to Mr. Tony Sozinho, which is the Vice Chair of the Luso Financial. We have about 3.5 minutes left, and I'd like to ask Tony to please, if anybody's watching and interested in getting involved, and becoming, maybe not even getting involved in the social aspect, but being inquiring about some of the Luso products that are so enticing from the financial end, for retirement, for family savings, for education, etc. How would they do it in this part of the valley, let's say, between Bakersfield and Modesto?
Okay. Well, I'm going to be biased.
Okay. Start with your daughter, please.
That's what I was going to say.
Mary Donna.
You call Mary Donna Mattis.
Okay.
And her number is 559-471-9147. And effective in 2 days, she's actually coming on board as a full-time agent for Luso instead of part-time. So she'll be handling a lot of this area. You're also able to call Luso Home Office, and they could direct you to any agent in your area. So if you want to, you could call any agent anywhere in the state.
I see.
So it's not like a protected area.
Okay. So Mary Donna could represent somebody in Modesto if she wanted to, or Norco Chino, etc.
But we have agents throughout the state.
Correct.
And you could call home office and ask for Danny Sequeira. And Danny is in charge of all the sales. And the Luso home office is, just go to Luso-American.org, and they have the phone numbers and everybody there that you could contact.
Right. Okay, well, here's the invitation. Hopefully you will contact Mary Donna. We'll post also Mary Donna's phone number on our social media, Os Portugueses no Vale page, and all kinds of information. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck, and continue to volunteer, because you've got another 35, 40 years to go before you retire, correct?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. We'll turn now to Portuguese. Mais uma vez, foi com muito gosto que estivemos com o Sr. Tony Sozinho, que é, portanto, o vice-chair da Luso Financial, portanto, da parte financeira da grande organização que é a Luso-America. Falamos aqui da Luso-America da Fraternal, falamos também da parte que tem a ver com a educação, portanto, a Luso-American Education Foundation, e de toda esta família que compõe a família da Luso. Falamos também do grande acontecimento que tivemos aqui no Canal 49, uma reportagem em 2 programas que tem a ver com a parte juvenil. Mais uma vez, para aqueles que falam a nossa língua portuguesa, contactem com a Luso, contactem com qualquer pessoa para terem estes serviços que hoje estão muito diferentes. Para além da policy tradicional, também podem ter outros produtos financeiros para vos ajudar a famílias novas ou aquelas pessoas que estão, portanto, a pensarem já na reforma. Aliás, nunca é cedo demais para se pensar na reforma. Não esperem para os 45 ou 50, comecem a pensar já nos 25 ou 30 anos. A família da Luso-American, através da Luso Financial, muito obrigado ao Sr. Sozinho por ter estado aqui conosco e muito obrigado aos nossos amigos telespectadores pela vossa presença. Continuem a fazer parte das vivências portuguesas aqui em terras da Califórnia e particularmente das nossas organizações como a família da Luso-America. Uma organização com mais de 150 anos ao serviço da nossa comunidade de origem portuguesa e todas as comunidades aqui no vastíssimo Vale de São Joaquim. Foi com muito gosto que estivemos consigo. Um grande abraço e até sempre do programa Os Portugueses no Vale.